Tesla seems to be having a bit of trouble holding on to its green pre-market numbers. Actually, made it into the green in the early going and now has turned red. There's there's a lot going on, I suppose you could say. People are still trying to figure out what really took place last Thursday. They're excited about what Trump did over the weekend. I'm sure that's having an impact. But in the meantime, we are heading into earnings season. So even though the NASDAQ is up this morning and the market seems generally happy, Tesla is at the moment down. Well, we're up against this Q3 earnings a week from tomorrow. The range in forecast is currently as low as 40 cents and as high as 70, with the average being around 66. And our local expert right now, the guy we're paying the most attention to, AJ, is saying 60 cents. I also realized this morning that the forecast of a cybercab only beginning production at the end of 2026 is sitting very funny with me. Why announce it to now, currently, why then, 8/8, 10/10, whatever day they were going to announce it, if it's not going to be produced for 2 more years? Something doesn't add up to me on that one. And Brian White and I are going to be spending time this morning talking about that on a very special and unique bi-channel effort that we're going to do later this morning. Sir Basher says that he is on his way. He's on his trip. I forget how many thousands of miles that he's going from South Florida all the way to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He says on the first day, he traveled 900 miles to Lake Charles, Louisiana. The number of necessary highway FSD disengagements, 0. The number of necessary city street FSD disengagements, 1. He had to make an extremely tight U-turn in order to enter a supercharging station and needed to disengage for that. That was his only disengagement. Doesn't sound like it was safety related. Number of other Cybertrucks seen on the road, 12. 8 new Cybertrucks on 2 trucks and then forward driving. Okay. His best kid comment about his car, about his truck: "I've always wanted to see a Cybertruck. Wow, this is so cool." His best male comment in Mississippi: "What are all those cameras for?" And his best female comment in Louisiana: "What is this? You aren't around here, are you? You aren't from around here, are you?" Inside EVs is reporting this morning electric vehicle sales hit a new record in the U.S. in Q3, driven by attractive lease deals, financing offers, and a growing appetite for affordable models among American car buyers. Despite all the political noise around EVs and the negative headlines in financial papers, automakers are having a moment selling their battery-powered cars. According to Car Trading and Markets Insights from Cox Automotive, automakers sold an estimated 346,309 EVs in the third quarter, a 5% increase from the second quarter. EVs accounted for 8.9% of total auto sales, the highest ever on record, marking an increase from 7.8% during the same period last year. With improving infrastructure, that's the key. Far more choices, helpful, and excellent deals to be had, definitely. The team expects further growth in the months ahead, according to Cox analyst. A 10% share is now well within reach. Well, of course, I thought we'd be at 17 by now. So we've had definitely a year off, but the infrastructure, this is what Randy's analysis is now telling me. Wherever these ideas come from, I truly believe it was the infrastructure that killed it. It was all those people that were buying Chevys and Fords and Hyundais and every other kind of car except for a Tesla, and then reporting to their friends that it was very hard to get charged. Now that that's being resolved, I think we're going to see the overall EV market pick right back up again in America, and it is going to benefit all the makes. Tesla also rebounds. It says here, Tesla rebounded after consecutive quarters of sales declines, thanks basically to that Cybertruck and the refreshed Model 3. The automaker's sales were up 6.6% this year over last year, and Cybertruck is now the third best-selling electric car in the U.S. behind the Model Y, We've got the Model Y at 86,801. The Model 3 at 58,000. The Tesla Cybertruck at 16,600. We've got the Ford Mustang at 13,300. Honda Prologue at 12. Honda is actually in the mix. The Hyundai at 11,590. Then finally, the Chevys come here with the Equinox at almost 10,000 and the Blazer at almost 8,000, with Rivian making it barely into the top 10 at 7,245. Cox also noted that while the deals and incentives are a big part of the growth, so is the expanded solution of EVs and selection. I said solution, selection of EVs and the improved infrastructure. With 1,000 new chargers being added every week in the US, basically by Tesla, buyers are finding that going electric is a whole lot easier compared to a year ago. This is going to be so important. While year-over-year growth has slowed, EV sales in the U.S. continue to march higher. According to Stephanie Valdez-Streety, Director of Industry Insights at Cox Automotive, the growth is being fueled in part by incentives and discounts, but more affordable EVs entering the market and infrastructure improves. I think they said the same thing 3 times. I'm sorry that I repeated those things 3 times. All right, this is according to AJ. Tesla is exceptionally successful in China. The Tesla Model Y was the #1 best-selling EV in China in September, and the Model 3 was the #6 best-selling EV, even though #2 through 5 best-selling EVs cost a fraction of a Tesla in China. So let me say that the opposite way. Even though the Model Y and the Model 3 are way more expensive than the others in the top 5, Tesla is doing extremely well in market share and total numbers. This is from AJ Tourville, not AJ, the other AJ. This is AJ Tourville. Anyway, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang on Elon Musk and xAI. He says it's never been done. This is being reported everywhere. He said this in a video. I watched the whole video. Never been done before. xAI did it in 19 days, what everyone else needs 1 year to accomplish, and that was bringing up that NVIDIA cluster in Memphis. 19 days. He just repeated it over and over again. Couldn't believe that they did it in 19 days. He says, that is superhuman. There's only one person in the world who could do this. Elon Musk is singular in his understanding of engineering. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that over the weekend, didn't we? Gas off 2. He says, there it is. Elon Musk didn't answer it directly, but here is Lars and Franz confirming that you could remove the steering wheel from the Cybertruck right now. And even older HW3 cars like a 2018 M3 are now and in the future fully autonomous, running FSD now. I don't know if I'm not 100% sure if what he just said was what I think he said, but I believe that they are running some vehicles right now. Maybe they got a steering wheel, but they've got people sitting in those cars that are commanded not to touch that wheel, not to touch that pedal, and to allow it to act like a cybercab. They are treating it like a cybercab in order to test the real world potential for releasing them as soon as possible. Elon Musk says he just inspected the Starship booster, which the arms have now been placed back in the launch mount, and it looks great. A few outer engine nozzles are warped from the heating and some other minor issues, but these are easily addressed. Starship is designed to achieve reflight in its rocket booster ultimately within an hour after liftoff. The booster returns within 5 minutes, so the remaining time is reloading the propellant and placing a ship on top of the booster, and an hour later, take off again. This says the deep states around the world are attempting to shut down Elon's speech. The latest is the state of California denying a U.S. government request for permits to do more launches in California, and they made this decision because of posts by Elon Musk that they didn't like. This is very likely to be undone by either political or legal pressure, but the attempt to thwart speech is one of the main reasons Harris is sinking in the polls. I truly believe this. On the other hand, the pressure has already gotten to the UK. they are now back, according to Mario Nothal, they are backtracking after snubbing Elon for investments, yes, for an investment summit. After they didn't invite Elon to a summit because they were upset over his criticism for jailing people over social media posts, the UK government is now claiming they want him there. Secretary of State for Science, Innovation, and Technology. Wow. I washed my tongue last night, can't do a thing with it. Secretary of State for Science, Innovation, and Technology, Peter Kyle, said, "We would love to engage with Elon Musk. If he wants to open an investment program and there's a global competition for it, believe me, we will be first in line, and I will be first in line trying to get that investment right here in the UK." All right, this is Randy Kirk. Hit the like and subscribe and notify button. I know I just run over that glibly, but I really need you to do that. You need the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, really, I mean, seriously, you need to subscribe. And then notify, we got Brian White coming on, as I said, for a very special event this morning. Yeah, no, it's not historic, but it will be interesting, and it will be the first time we've ever done it. Does that make it historic? Anyway, and then we've got Larry Goldberg later tonight on the road on his way back from Texas. We'll see what time that's going to take place. And then Patreon. Very serious need for Patreon right now. It's purely and simply support for the channel. Yeah, you can have a free Cybertruck if you, yeah, I'll give you a free one if you join at the $5 level. Sure. Okay, Brad Ferguson says this morning, my Uber from the airport, his Uber, he gets into an Uber from the airport on arriving home in Indianapolis. I mean, I forget where he lives, Carmel, Indiana. I don't know where he actually landed. Anyway, his Uber refused to take the suggested route multiple times and then straight up missed the turn. It broke traffic laws. It turned left from a lane next to the left turn lane twice. And then he thought to himself, on supervised FSD, that would have been 3 disengagements, although none were safety critical necessarily. So how good is your Uber driving, and how much safer would it be if we just started putting the Teslas out there right now? All right, CNBC had this morning on crude oil. I've been talking about crude oil and the reality that I believe we're going back into the low 60s. Crude oil futures fell nearly 2% on Monday after OPEC cut its demand forecast for 2024 for the 3rd time. OPEC now sees demand growing only by 1.9 million barrels per day. That'd be about 1.9. It's running about 100 million a day, so I don't know the exact number. Anyway, that would be down from their 2 million in their previous forecast. The group expects demand to grow by 1.6 million barrels in 2025 compared to the 1.7 previously. Now it sees demand growing by, I'm sorry, the group expects demand to grow by, I missed something there. OPEC now sees demand growing by 1.9 million barrels in 2024. I'm sorry, 24. In 25, another 1.6 million barrels, but they dropped that from 1.7. I get it. Okay. Kobesi is saying this morning, prediction markets now see a 15% chance of no rate cut in November. According to Polymarket. Over the last 3 weeks, odds of a 50 basis rate cut in November declined from 53 to 8. So now we have a better chance of a no increase than we have of a 50 basis point cut. Meanwhile, the odds of no change of interest rates have tripled. Once again, it appears that the Fed has moved too quickly in their latest 50. Yes, once again, I've been saying, we almost immediately saw that maybe the Fed should not have cut rates at all, and that 50 basis points was too much, and that maybe there won't be a cut in November or December, but we need to see more data. And the only data they're going to see, though, they'll see lots of other data, but the major data that they're going to see before November 7th is only the PCE, although some people speculate that they would know what the job numbers are before we do, and that's entirely possible. Kamala has released an agenda for Black men to boost support. ahead of the elections. Kamala has launched her opportunity agenda for Black men as part of a strategy effort to court more support from Black male voters amid concerns from Democratic leaders that Kamala may be trailing a previous Democratic nominees in support from this demographic. The agenda that she is offering focuses on initiatives like providing forgivable loans to Black entrepreneurs, expanding apprenticeships, and addressing health equity issues. Isn't this illegal on its face? What do you mean she's offering special programs for Black men? Isn't that sexist and racist? And I don't think you can do this, Kamala. I think we've passed that moment when this was legal. I could be wrong, but I think it's illegal. All right, the VIX is up 20 this morning. I guess maybe the elections are starting to impact the VIX because, I mean, yeah, we got, war in all over the world. We've got a market that's very confused. We've got the overall stock market maybe stretched, as I've been talking about for weeks. I'm going to be right someday, aren't I? I mean, at some point, the market is going to go down. So in the meantime, Tesla is trying to recover into the green. The Dow is up 19, the NASDAQ is up 179, the S&P is up 38, and Tesla is now only down 127 after being down 2 something. But it was also up 2 something. So it is vacillating back and forth. We've got the Mag 7 in very solid territory this morning. Apple up nicely, NVIDIA up very nicely, Microsoft up $7.70, Meta up $6. And we got the Cathie Woods basically down. Now, there's no bond market today, but we've got almost all the Cathie Woods down, although narrowly. A couple, ARK and PayPal are up slightly, but the rest are down. The percentages would be the Dow, the Dow is down, up 0.05, NASDAQ up 1.02, S&P up 0.67. So all 3 indices are now up, and Tesla continues to be down slightly. All right, let's go ahead and look. We will skip the bonds this morning because they just aren't. This is Columbus Day. Kamala had a speech this morning where she was talking about those nasty white settlers that came into the United States and created all kinds of war and mayhem and killing and brought disease, because there was no disease, no war, and no mayhem before the white settlers arrived here. We all know this, of course, if we've read our history books. Certainly true. All right, let's see if I can. I've got all kinds of pop-ups coming here and messing up with my ability to see okay, here we go. Oil down $1.58. Brent down $1.61. We're looking at Texas Intermediate now at $74. Brent at $77.33. I think we're going to see some positioning soon of into the 60s on oil. All right, we've got natural gas down 3.9% this morning to $2.53. Don't have any clue about gas. They say that October is when people start making decisions about what the winter is going to look like. And right now, I suppose they're saying it's going to be a nice, warm winter, or at least the beginning of winter. So gold is down $11.90 right now at $2,664. Silver down 1% at $31.44. Copper down 1.87 at $4.41. So we've got all of those metals down, and precious metals as well. The dollar is up against the Japanese yen, 0.5, down against the euro, 0.25. The Bitcoin up strongly this morning, 3,252. That is 5% to 65,883. Why? Does anybody let me know in the comments? Why would Bitcoin be running up so much this morning? All right, so that's where all those markets are this morning. We have got back to just taking another look at Tesla, almost into the green now, only 38 cents to go, looking like it will take look. Probably, maybe there was some significant selling What do you think? Okay, so Brian White, he's very excited about this program that we're going to do this morning. He just sent me some notes. That was one of the things that was distracting me. So be sure to watch the Brian White and Randy Kirk show this morning. We're going to have some fun, and then Larry Goldberg later today. And for now, I'm going to say adieu and also